Did you know that every word you speak matters? Are your conversations making a difference? With a passion for words and a heart for conversation, Teresa Velardi is a self-professed word nerd, best-selling author, BizCat 360 columnist, and publisher. Children's books as well as fiction and nonfiction books are welcomed at We Be Books Publishing and Book Endeavors, the imprints of her company, Authentic Endeavors Publishing. Whether written or spoken, Teresa strives to encourage and inspire meaningful conversations that make a difference. Here's the host of Conversations That Make a Difference, Teresa Velardi.
Welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference. I'm Teresa Velardi, your host for the show. And today we have a great guest, Johnny Tan. I'll tell you about Johnny in just a minute. But first, I want to welcome you to Dream Vision 7 Radio Network and Conversations That Make a Difference. We are live every first and third Tuesday of the month at 5 p.m. You can listen to replays at 5 a.m. I won't be there, but you can watch the replay, and 5 p.m. every Tuesday, or go to the archives and watch the old shows as well. So you can even play Dream Vision 7 Radio by asking Alexa. You can listen in your car, on YouTube, and on your mobile devices everywhere. We like to start our show with a prayer. So I usually start with the Serenity Prayer. So let's do that now. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I also want to say that it is by God's grace that we are fabulous, blessed, and highly favored, living in our greatness, using our gifts and talents, making a difference in the lives of others with passion and purpose, and all of God's great universe is conspiring in our favor. And together we say, gratefully, amen.
Amen.
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about this guy we call Johnny Tan. Johnny's a social entrepreneur, experiential keynote speaker, career and life coach, mentor, talk show host, and the founder and CEO of From My Mama's Kitchen, a 501c3 nonprofit Genius Zone educational platform community enrichment program advocating personal success begins at home, the power of unconditional love, and living and performing in our genius zone. And we'll talk a little bit about that to build a better world. He's also the publisher of Inspirations for Better Living, a digital magazine, owner of WordsHavePower.store, and is a multi-award winning and best-selling author. Johnny experienced a spiritual awakening while writing his first book, From My Mama's Kitchen, Food for the Soul, Recipes for Living, honoring his 9 moms. Yes, I said 9 moms. We'll talk about that as well. The book is about the power of unconditional motherly love and practical, timeless principles for living life he learned from those 9 moms, his teachers, coaches, counselors, and cheerleaders. Johnny's recently released the 15th anniversary special edition, also known as From My Mama's Kitchen, Food for the Soul, Recipes for Living, my 9 moms. Try and say that 3 times fast. Conversations about life, love, and laughter to honor and celebrate the impact these women have had on his life in leaving a legacy of hope. Johnny was awarded the prestigious 2020 and 2021 Top 100 Visionaries in Education by the Global Forum for Educational Learning. And in 2022, he was invited to be an executive contributor to the Global Brains magazine. Johnny, welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference. How are you?
Thank you. I mean, it sounds wonderful. I was like, okay, I just better be quiet here. That sounds good to me.
Who is this guy she's talking about anyway, right?
I know.
We have quite a few credentials. So let's talk, first of all, we're going to talk about your 15th anniversary edition.
Yes.
What made you decide to do another edition of this book?
You know, the recipes for living life are all evergreen, right? Well, the last 15 years, the funny thing about it is that I went through a process of from being at the peak of my personal Mount Everest, I fell into the Grand Canyon of life.
Oh my goodness.
and making my way back up to the top and so forth. So, having said that, the uniqueness of it is that it's to, most importantly, not so much about me, is honoring my 9 moms and
Mm,
moms everywhere, because people don't realize that personal success begins at home. And especially with the, uh, I would say, challenges that we have right now
mm,
globally. And we all seem to forget that it starts at home, from just that beautiful home. A house is a building where we all live. A
mm.
home is that energy that flows, the love that's within that home. And guess what? That permeates to the neighborhood, the community, and then you want to call it township, state, country, whatever you want to call
There you go.
it.
There you go. So, I agree with you that everything we know and we learn, most of it begins, I would say, around the kitchen table. So I
Yes.
love the way that you have this, food for the soul, recipes for living. I think some of the most memorable conversations that I've had with people have been over a meal at my kitchen table. And that's the feeling that I get when I
Mhm.
read this book. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. You claim to have 9 moms, and you do explain some of them here, but let's tell our audience how you came to claim these women as your moms. Start at the beginning.
Well, first and foremost, I was a problem child. So, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, something tells me that that is actually true.
But next, next. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding. Uh, it's what's amazing about it, and we talk about this because there's a very interesting thing about life, Teresa. The spiritual side of the equation and the scientific side of the equation, right?
Mhm.
I was born, adopted by my Malaysian mom. So right off the bat, out of the shoot, so to speak, uh, what happened here? I got a different mom, and she was very excited to adopt me. And I did not know about it till when I was around 10 or 11 years old, when I found out by accident.
Mhm.
And she was about to die when I went into the kitchen. I remember walking in the kitchen and said, "Mom, Lane, my sister said that I was adopted." It's like, because I was adopted at birth, and she didn't want me to know about it.
Right.
And then she explained the situation and so forth, and that she had issues with being pregnant and had several miscarriages and so forth, and that my maternal mom had pointed to her belly and keep on saying, "Don't worry, if this is a boy, it's yours." Duh.
Wow.
Yeah, and so when you look at that, like, okay, as a kid, you don't think about stuff like that. Now,
Mhm.
as adults, as we got to our age now, when we look back, is it divinely guided that way? And so, having said that, I spent the first 18 years of my life with my Malaysian mom, yeah, who taught me quite a bit. I mean, about life, love, and laughter, living, basically. And I had the opportunity to come to the United States when I was 18. 4 months after my 18th birthday, I landed in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to go to college at
Mhm.
LSU. And that's where I met my Southern Belle mom, who was my host family. But while in transit to the United States, I met my so-called Italian foster father. And that summer that I was in the United States, he invited me to visit his family up in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. And that's how I met his wife, Carol Wisdom, who became my Italian foster mom. They were actually ready to adopt me, but I just turned 19. So officially you can't. And besides that, okay, guys, I came halfway around the world to be on my own.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's nice to have someone caring in your life,
Mhm.
right? Now, as kids, we don't think about stuff like that. But Ben took it upon himself. He was a businessman, and he travels to Asia at least twice a year. And later that fall, because I came in the spring, later that fall, he flew to Asia for a business trip, and he segued to visit my mom and my dad and my
Wow.
sister in Malaysia, and letting them know, hey, don't worry about it. Carol and I will be there if anything happens or whatever Johnny needs. You can count on us. And again, like I say, kids, like, who cares?
Yeah.
But as parents, I'm sure that's a big deal, because you got your son halfway around the world at 18, 19, whatever you want to call it, right? And
Yeah.
so, you have someone. I was just talking to my sister the other day, and she recalled when Ben visited, we don't have any car. Like I said, we're not from a rich family. We're middle class. She was taking Ben around to see Malacca, Malaysia, in a bus, a public bus.
Mhm.
But it was just amazing, right? So it's interesting.
Yeah.
So when in the college, so I had three moms basically,
Mhm.
and there was a fun thing. And then when I started working, that's when I met my three other moms: my uh, Texan Earthly mom, my Sanguine Savannah mom, and my Progressive Spiritual mom. All of them actually at business meetings and so forth, in different parts of the country. And so it was like, it's like the natural thing. I mean, maybe, and I tell people this, though, it's very, very interesting. No one can love you unless you allow yourself to be loved.
That's a very good point. Say that again.
No one can love you unless you allow yourself to be loved.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's got nothing to do with uh, mom children relationship. It's boy girl or whatever partnership, the same thing.
Yes.
If you don't allow it in, ain't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Exactly.
plain and simple. And so, whole and behold, these ladies I met at different times in my life, obviously.
Mm.
And so they just naturally kind of took, their natural instincts. When you look at age-wise, I'm the youngest of all their kids. They're kids a bit older than I am, right? And so it was like a perfect thing. It's like an empty nester needing someone, I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah.
for like a better term. And
I
then, of
think so.
course,
I think a lot of women
yeah,
have,
go ahead.
it's interesting that you say that. I think a lot of women, well, families,
Yeah.
have a difficult time being, as you say, empty nesters. The kids are
Yeah,
so much a part of their lives. I mean, I know
right.
my son is out on his own now, and but he's
Yeah,
close by, and I'm so grateful for that, because even though he doesn't live under the same roof, I still have an incredible relationship, and I'm sure that you had awesome relationships with all these people. I got to tell you something though. As you tell me where they're all from, you have a Southern Belle, you have an Italian, you have a German mom, you have,
yeah.
imagine what dinner was like if anybody, if they, all of them got together and cooked. How many different ethnicities are going to be at that table in terms of food and people?
Oh, it's fantastic. And it so happens that they all spread out all over, in some ways. I mean, a few of them are obviously in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And then my Sanguine Savannah mom is in Savannah. And
Mhm.
my Town Foster mom is in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. But having said that, they all have different flavors, different things that they do.
Mhm.
And over the years, when my mom was able to come and visit me, she had the opportunity to meet with all of them.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. As a matter of fact, if you look in that book, because this particular 15th anniversary edition, I added pictures in them. And one of the
Mhm.
pictures in there, I can't remember what page it is, but you will see my German mom, my progressive spiritual mom, and my mom. And that was actually at a party that I had at my place at that time. And they all came over and ate and brought a buffet kind of thing, bring a potluck.
Mhm. Mhm. And you
And that
even have
was
some of
really
their
nice.
recipes in the back of the book here.
Yes.
Yes.
But it
Yes.
was funny though, because it's only six recipes from my nine recipes from six of my moms, because three
Okay.
of my moms, uh, and it comes back to the idea again. You asked me why did you write the book. The original book started out because I wanted to preserve food recipes from my various moms, and it what triggered it was my Malaysian mom. She came and visited me, and I said, she's getting old. no telling how much traveling she can do anymore. And so I figured I better start writing food recipes that I like. So it's a
Yeah.
guy thing, it's out of selfishness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a few months later, then I realized that, okay, I like Carol's, food, right? That little dish is great. I like Eleanor's, stuffing. Okay, so let me contact all of them and collect all these recipes. And I said, okay, great. So they love it. They share it with me. And I literally told them, I said, from my mama's kitchen, food for the soul recipes for a living, just a fun deal. And
Mhm.
well, guess what? 7 years went by. I couldn't get the book off the ground
Wow.
because I think I've been told that's the wrong angle. And then, lo and behold, uh, my Italian foster mom, Carol, always calls me on New Year's Day. And I remember that year she called me up in 2007 and said, "Hey, when are you going to finish this book? I hope you finish it before I die." And she was like 90
Yeah.
years old at the time. And I was like, "Yes, ma'am, I'm working on it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be working on it this April."
You had your mama on your tail to get it done. Yes, you
Yeah.
did.
And so I sat down and started writing. And lo and behold, within, I would say, a week, I budget myself, I say 2 hours every night. I got to sit down from 8 to 10 just to write.
Mm.
And
Mm.
from the things that I put together, I realized that, wait a minute now, it's got nothing to do with food. It's all the beautiful motherly wisdom that I've got from all these different women that helped me walk through life. And believe it or not, Teresa, you and I take for granted because we're kids. Who cares?
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't think about it. But
Mm.
in introspection in life, we look back, it's like, oh my gosh, that's the richness of the food,
Mm.
actually more than the food that actually fed us. And
Mm.
so I started writing, and lo and behold, in 9 months, I finished it at the end of the year. And it's about you know recipes for a living life.
Yeah.
And had I stuck with that food thing, three of my mouths would not have made it into the book.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot of things here, and we'll talk about a couple of them. I
Yeah,
want you to
yeah,
choose a couple of lessons that you learned that are most important to you from these
yeah,
beautiful women that you get the opportunity to call mom. And I laugh about the fact who 9 moms, who would even go there, Some people say, oh, one was enough, just like the kids. One was enough. So, but I think that you had a unique experience of being
yes,
able to learn from each one of them and take something. I believe that we take something from every relationship that we have, just as
yes,
well as we give to every relationship that we have. And what we take away, I think, and what we give is the best of each person so that you can move to the next level of life, if you will.
hmm,
I like how you started out with saying that you were on your Mount Everest and now you're in the Grand Canyon of life. The Grand Canyon is beautiful, right? So,
there you go. It's how you take a look at it. But it's
ex-
the kind of thing where I'm using it dramatically from the standpoint of you got the highest of the highest, right? And then
mm,
all of a sudden you got the lowest of
yeah,
I
you've
was
got
like,
the lowest of the
whoa.
lowest and everything in between, Johnny, and everything in between.
Precisely.
Yeah, and I
Precisely.
know that you have experienced a lot of the in-betweens.
Hmm.
The other thing that I wanted to you talk about this in terms of living and in your genius zone. I think this
Yes.
book gives an example of how to do that too. So,
Yes.
we're gonna talk a little bit about that as well. I don't want to ask you who was your favorite, but who was your favorite?
It's interesting because they really, I mean, with respect, obviously, my mom that raised me, Nya is obviously the favorite from that standpoint of view. But what happened is everyone is my favorite because, and I speak about this and I live the way it is. Situation dictates
Mhm.
because each mom have has their own strength, weaknesses, or whatever. We all do, right? But
Yeah,
what
we all do.
happened was, again, when I look back at the spectrum, this individual came right in time for the specific things that I've encountered in life.
Mhm.
And so, like they always say, who can handle this? Step up. Well, guess what?
Mhm.
I've been divinely brought together by these 9 moms at different times that were perfect for the situation as the teacher, the coach, the counselor, the cheerleaders, and so forth.
Yeah, and it's amazing how it happens that they arrive at just the right time, right? I was
Mm-hmm,
having this
mm-hmm,
conversation with a friend today. She said she called me the other day and she was upset about something, and I said, "Well, I think this book would help you to get through this," because I had read that.
uh-huh.
And so she was in the store, and sure enough, somebody had left the book unpurchased on the counter where she checked out, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, this is what Teresa just told me about. I have to buy this." It was laying right there for her, right?
Wow.
So it was
Wow.
just really, really
Yeah.
wonderful. And that happens. We just have to keep our eyes open for those little, I'll call them synchronicities that
Mm-hmm.
happen, and recognize that, as Tony Robbins says, life is happening for us, not
Yes.
necessarily to us. So, and on that
Yes.
note, we're going to take our first break. We'll be back in just a minute with Johnny Tan. Stay with us.
Are you one of the many people who said, "Someday I'll write a book," but don't know how to get started? Many wannabe authors have begun with the same question and are now published by Authentic Endeavors Publishing, a multi-imprint hybrid publishing company. Whether you're writing an autobiography, a memoir, a kingdom book, a children's book, a business book, or an anthology, we have a place for you. Visit www.AuthenticEndeavorsPublishing.com for more information or to set up a 20-minute consultation. Your title of published author is within reach.
Born Able exists to highlight and normalize the humanity, worth, and abilities of infants and children born with complex medical conditions. We write, illustrate, and publish books for these children and have featured over 1,000 children throughout the world. Our videos and posts have been viewed over 100 million times on social media as we strive to showcase these amazingly abled kids and fight relentlessly for equal medical care, regardless of diagnosis. All proceeds from Born Able books go directly to the Born Able Foundation. To nominate a special kid to be featured in a Born Able book, go to www.bornable.org to learn more.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velardi's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we're back with Johnny Tan, and we're talking about his 9 moms and his book, From My Mama's Kitchen, 15th edition. Be sure to get your copy. There's lots in here. And I got to tell you, there's cute pictures of Johnny when he was a youngster. And he and his sister are there. There's a couple of shots in here that are just like, oh, wow, he was a cute kid. So that's awesome. It's awesome. But I want to continue talking about your moms, but I want to talk about
Yeah.
Inspirations for Better Living for a minute. You have this online magazine that is digital, and it's basically conversations with moms, right? There's all
Yes.
moms that are writing in there. Yes.
Yes. Yes. And we have occasionally, grand men and so forth, and because it's all about family, right? The reason I mentioned moms per se or women, because, and this is the kind of thing is very interesting. People don't realize that. One would say, well, in the old days, that's what women, right? Okay, they're supposed to sit home, have babies and all that. Okay, and the man, we are in charge. Yeah, really. And
What a delusion that is.
right. Because even then, the funny thing about life, when you look back at it very carefully, the moms are the COOs, if not the CEO of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it comes to family, within that context of that home, guess who is in charge? Mommy is.
You know that statement. If mama ain't happy, nobody's happy, right?
You got that right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
so what happens here? The
uh,
situation
mhm.
allows it to whereby now, as we get, to the 21st century, it's much more profound. People see that. Guess what? You and I mean, I don't know about, but again, we are here in America. When you see the interviews on the NFL, guess who the players say hello to? Hi, mom.
Hi, mom. Yeah.
What happened to hi, dad? It's like, son, I was the one who threw the daggone ball at you. You know what I'm talking about? It's so funny. It's like, did mommy actually go out there and, throw the football at me? No, it's dad. But it's like, hi, mom.
Yeah. It's so true. We recognize our moms. So talk a little bit about, you've got a bunch of different columns, and I've had the honor and pleasure to write a couple of times in your magazine, and you have a bunch of different columnists that you have in there, and you
Yes,
have several sections. You want to talk a little bit about them? Because I have to
sure.
tell you, if you don't have a subscription to Inspirations for Better Living and you want one, we can help you to have a look at the magazine. And then the subscription is not much money, and there's a lot of inspiration in there from a variety of writers who have columns in there. So let's talk about a few of the categories so that people will know that that's a good investment in themselves, their personal growth, and how they handle their children, and whatever else comes out of this magazine, because there's a lot in there.
Sure. Inspiration for Better Living digital magazine was given birth from a perspective of the focus is on moms, because it's not about how to raise junior per se, but it's about mom. Because when we talk about when mom is happy, grounded, and so forth, where that reverberating, loving energy permeates through the home, the community, the neighborhood, the whole nine yards. And so I created that magazine to make it fun from a perspective of hearing stories, real life inspiring stories from individuals that, hey, like everybody else, we want to hear, what's your story, young man or young lady, what's your story? So that I can see and learn, and I can copy and go, and it empowers me. So I have columns, for example, like kitchen table conversation, that normal, what do we talk about? Well, this allows you to do that. Remember you and I, when we were growing up, there's specific times. Kids, 7:30, get your behind, sit down. We're all having dinner. And we have this chit chat. Now it's not like that. So, but the point is, it's not the quantity, it's the quality of time, whether it's just 30 minutes. It just happens. And then what to talk about? That's where our kitchen table conversations will work out very, very well. And then I have occasionally notes from the fridge. Occasionally I have even Mama's Piggy Bang and so forth. But now we do have ongoing, for example, fun stuff. And guess what? The sandwich generation, we have, before you know it, we're taking care of our parents. Some of us sooner than later. So we have a column that focuses on lovingly parenting our parents. Believe it or not, we are parenting our parents.
Yes.
Yeah, going, sort of a full circle, so to speak. So we have a wonderful columnist that does that, Tammy Hedder, and she is currently sharing her story, taking care of a mom. And so you get real life experiences from that standpoint of view. We have a column that focuses on just being a mom, and we call it Mom Support Group. Alicia Lyons does that because that's her by nature, because she's actually, her background, interestingly enough, she was a surrogate mom.
Yes.
That's her
Yes.
area of specialty. She gave
Mhm.
birth to all, she's for hire, for lack of a better
Yeah.
term. Take
Yeah.
it, the way it is. But she understands, because I know, and this is the funny thing, and I talk about it in my book and explain, and then from Guy, right? But my mom told me this, you can babysit your nephew, you can, do whatever until you have someone right there that you gave birth to, or basically adopted a child.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
So,
stuck.
it's interesting. Alicia is actually, she just submitted her manuscript for her second book,
Uh-huh.
Creating Little Miracles. And it's funny that you're talking about Alicia and the surrogacy,
Yeah.
because she has helped women who were not able to have babies to actually have babies. And she's a beautiful human being. And so is Tammy Hayter, for that matter. Tammy's book
Hmm.
is Walking Old Roads, and she's writing her second one. It's a memoir.
Yeah.
There's a lot about her
Yeah.
mom in there. So, we tend to talk about our either being a mom, of course, having a mom, and where the relationships go as we get older, or as we
Hmm.
have the opportunity to, Alicia, to have our own children as well as help other people have theirs.
Precisely.
It takes a
And
special person to do those things.
and that's part of the concept, is that's part of that living the legacy of love, the
Mhm.
continuity. And that's what the entire concept of From My Mama's Kitchen is all about, the platform,
Mhm.
the magazine, Inspirations for Better Living.
Mhm.
We even have a section in there called Spiritual Living, that's focused on people that say are more to the spiritual side of vocation. I think we're all spiritual, but maybe this is a little bit more spiritual focus. And
Mhm.
that's very interesting, because what happens is that I have different contributors that have lived life, and it's like me. I mean, why the heck is From My Mama's Kitchen? Where'd that come from?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, where's that? But we all go through that process. Who am I? Why am I here? What's my
Mhm.
purpose? And
Mhm.
how can I contribute to building a better world? But before you can contribute, you got to find yourself, the wholeness within, and so forth.
Right. And what you just said is so important. I remember a day when I looked in the mirror and I said those two things. Who are you and why are you here? And it's a
Yeah.
question we all have to ask ourselves. Like, I believe that every one of us has a purpose when we land on this planet, you know? And I think that we don't leave until we have fulfilled that purpose. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yes, yes. And again, it's not something that, oh my God, I got to go find myself. No, let it unfold. Because
Hmm.
one of the things, interestingly enough, you talk about the book you have held right there, and there's a recipe there. The answers are all around us,
Yeah.
interestingly enough. And, it's amazing where in the madness of us trying to look, we're not really looking.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
it's more of sitting quiet and really looking from the perspective of you
Yeah.
know pay attention, the answers are all around us, and
Discovery.
you'll find it. Yes, yes, yes. And that's the difference. And one of the things that I actually like to talk about, Inspiration for Better Living magazine, we have a section that called Nana's and Papa's Wisdom. And
Nice.
occasionally I'll have a lady or a gentleman that share their wisdom. And guess what? That's life. That's
Hmm.
that's and to qualify for that, this is funny because they have to be at least 65 or older, and they don't have to have any kids, grandkids, or whatever, because guess what? They've been round the block. Trust me. We can
And
learn a thing or two.
probably held the hands of a bunch of little kids that they took along for the ride, right?
Precisely, precisely. And so these are really, really wonderful, scenarios that people don't realize. And over the years, we have some really wonderful contributors that, and from anywhere from uh, Martin Cooper, who is the founder of, who actually the designer, the guy that created our cell phone.
Mm.
He's in there. He and his wife wrote a wonderful story in there, sharing the wisdom. And then we had Dr. Irving Lazio from the Lazio Institute in Europe. Is twice nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Wow.
Yeah, so these are the things that people are really sharing their wisdom. And you and I, as you have mentioned, the thing about it is that we are sharing experiential things that we have gone through. And that's why when you look at, as you read my stuff, I am an experiential teacher, coach, counselor, and speaker, because it's the real thing, not about, well, guys, thanks for having me. I read that book, page 35, paragraph 3, you need to do this. Really?
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you're all about experience, and you're all about sharing that experience. And
Precise.
we all have our own journey. And although we may
Sure.
be walking down the same road, what we see, what we take away from a particular part of the journey that we're on is different. And we get to share that with one another, bring that
Yes.
joy, bring that experience, bring that triumph or overcoming or whatever the case may be. To someone else who may be going through similar situations that you've gone through in your life. And you see that in the pages of your book. You see that in the pages of Inspirations for Better Living. And I just think it's awesome. And also, I want to say that in Inspirations for Better Living, you're going to find a bookshelf, and there's going to be some books on there, books that Johnny has participated in or written himself. By the way, he's been in all the daily gift books that we put out so far, daily gift book series. And also, gratitude, hope, and kindness. Peace is coming next. And so you've been all of those. I saw that you had Amy Almeida's book on there. You have Alicia's first book on there, and Tammy's first book, and a bunch of the other books that are part of a piece of each one of the authors who are in there as far as columnists are concerned. And don't forget, you have a store with things with inspirational sayings on them. You have a store.
Yes.
Just give the title of the store, because we got to go to break. Actually, hold it.
Yes.
We'll come back, okay?
Okay.
We'll come back. And we're with Johnny Tan, and you're listening to Conversations That Make a Difference. We'll be right back.
Do you have an uplifting personal story to share? The Daily Gift Book series began with a daily gift of gratitude and a daily gift of hope, both available on Amazon. We're looking for people like you to share a story in our continuing series. Kindness, peace, inspiration, and generosity are just a few of the upcoming topics in the Daily Gift Book series. Your stories matter, and they make a difference. Visit www.dailygiftbookseries.com to find out more on how to submit your story for one of the upcoming titles.
With the hustle and bustle of today's world, how often do you practice gratitude? How can you make it a habit? Gratitude is more than putting a smile on your face and being thankful for the roof over your head. It's expanding your perception and finding gratitude for every opportunity and every challenge. Gratitude is a feeling of connection to things higher than yourself, to God, and to others. We focus on light, positivity, and connections. When we join our grateful hearts together, the power of community attracts more people and even more to be grateful for while making a difference. A grateful heart is infectious. Share it. Join our Grateful Hearts community on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/The Grateful Hearts Community and watch your blessings blossom.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we're back with Johnny Tan. We're having a great conversation about his new book, From Your Mama's Kitchen, 15-year edition. The first one was good. This one is even better. So make sure you get your copy. We'll talk about how you can do that in just a minute. So, Johnny, another thing that I wanted to ask you, you have you had the opportunity to write in Brains magazine. And you were an executive contributor. What does that mean?
They invited me to share my knowledge, my experiential knowledge in terms of leadership and everything else. So I did that with Brains, and we had a wonderful relationship. I wrote a couple of articles. I just didn't have that much time to write a lot of other articles, and it was great. It's still there. You can Google me, and you'll find me on Brains Magazine, and talk about how to really, it sort of tied back into what we're talking about right here, From My Mama's Kitchen, the Genius Zone concept, where we live and perform in our genius zone, so to speak.
What's a genius zone?
Glad you asked. When you look at it right here, a lot of times people are intimidated when you hear the word genius zone, like, oh my God, I got to have like 4 or 5 degrees from an Ivy League school. No, you don't. We're all geniuses in our own ways because we're born with a unique divine fingerprint. And as we understand that, and that book, as a matter of fact, you talk about From My Mama's Kitchen, really start to make you start thinking the answers are within, not out. It's a combination of both. In the University of Life, we are in it.
Yeah.
You figure out, like you say, oh no, I'm not at this university. Duh, you are enrolled in the University of Life. And so as such is how do we tap into the ever ready education that's out there. Our genius zone is basically, this is where curiosity turns chaos into peace.
Oh, wow. What?
Yeah. You let curiosity, the thing that we want to learn, think about it this way. What is the number one favorite thing that a kid always say? Besides not necessarily no, but what is it? Why? How? Why? They want to learn.
Yeah.
And guess what? We want to learn too. So that's why curiosity, as long as you let curiosity leads the way. You see something, do that. Interesting. Let me find out, That's curiosity. Turns chaos into peace. That clarity produces a creative mindset, which actually ignites the courage to act with graceful, quiet confidence. Because now we have the courage, I got this. And then the funny thing about it, when we live in the moment, it allows us to celebrate the successes as they occur. Because it's never about yesterday or tomorrow, it's today. This is what's happening. And the perpetual synergy of that harmony, joy, and happiness, inspires us to dream, achieve, and become. And now we are flowing with life's energy, the rhythm of life, so to speak. And guess what? It doesn't matter. You are so-called a scientist, a guy that actually mows the lawn. I bet you not all scientists can mow the lawn the way it's supposed to be done right. You got to talk to the guy that mowed the lawn. Oh, first you got to do this, right? It's natural. Everybody is an expert in their own, forte, so to speak. And that's what the Genius Zone is all about. And for us, is to respect and we share that information.
Right. So that's so awesome. I love that. Curiosity turns chaos into peace. That's so, I would never have thought about it that way. Johnny, you're so insightful. This is amazing. So, I often kid around about, if I don't know something, I go to YouTube University. So staying in line with the
precisely
staying in line with the genius conversation.
Yes.
How to do something may not be my forte, but I can go to YouTube and find somebody who has a list of everything that I may need to know about the topic and videos and whatnot. And those people are passionate about what they do. And I think that's the piece that actually, I think passion, curiosity, love of whatever the topic might be, brings us into that place that you so beautifully call the Genius Zone. I love it.
Yeah, and you think about it, okay? The timing is never better. Now, in the old days, we have to go to the library, go read books. Oh my God, I got to read this book just to find out this little information. No, now you can Google this. It was funny when I do my keynote presentation, even with the younger generations, then I say, hey, guess what? Step 2 is Google the Google. because you want to make sure the information
Is
is
correct.
legit. Yes, 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 yes. And so that is important. So the old cliche, honey, the answers are all around you. Duh. No
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly. Exactly. Literally all around you and in front of you in this machine we call a computer, you know? So, yeah,
Precisely.
exactly. I want to say one more thing about you that I know about you that I'm going to reveal right now. You are
Uh-oh.
a ballroom dancer.
Yes. One of my moms, in my leisure time, I met my ballroom instructor mom, my German mom, and my Cajun mom in the ballroom community. And my ballroom instructor mom, it's so funny because the first time when I met her, she asked me, "Do you want to dance or you want to dance?" I said, "Well, gee, I don't know. I want to show, what's the difference, right?" And then I'm idiot. Or so, "Oh, you want to dance? I'll show you patterns and all. And if you want to dance," and she goes, set up the normal formal waltz, posture. I said, "Oh yeah, I want to do that one." Well, guess what? Within a week, I had to go lift weights, do all kinds of exercise to keep up with a 62-year-old lady.
My word.
And I was like in my late 30s, early 40s, like, ah. And man,
Wow.
the worst part, I had just completed my black belt in martial arts. So I thought like, hey, I was fit, man.
Yeah. Ballroom
But
dancing.
it was
You know, I
beautiful.
have my aunt, my mom's sister,
Mhm.
was honored on the Ed Sullivan Show for having won
Oh,
the trophy for the Viennese waltz on
wonderful. Yes.
an amateur competition with her husband. So
Mhm.
I have a heart for ballroom dancing. I was a disco queen myself. I could spin like a top, but I've never done ballroom dancing. So one day we'll have to approach that.
You'll
So
love it. As a matter of fact, the picture that I had in the book with me and my late dance partner and my ballroom instructor mom, I had that jacket on. That we did the Viennese waltz to "I'm King, I Shall Lead." And my ballroom instructor mom, she does a lot of charity work, and we actually that fall in 2001, we were supposed to dance for an event with the Heritage Association, the group out of St. Francisville, Louisiana. They do all this heritage, old dresses not at the old governor's mansion. But of course, September 11 happened. So my mom, ballroom instructor mom, organized an event. So we did the Carrie in that picture, made her own dress. And mine, the jacket that I have is exactly like in the movie, was made by the ladies in San Francisville. And I
yeah.
still have the jacket, and it's a beautiful piece. And what happened with the story from that is because The King and I, that is the last version of the Anna and the King, where Chow Yun-fat and Jodie Foster starred in there, and they did the Viennese waltz instead of the polka. All the original one, The King and I are all polka dancers. That Anna and the King, they did the Viennese waltz. So we did the
Beautiful.
Viennese
Yeah,
waltz.
and the
Yes.
pictures in the book, you can't, it's
Oh,
pictures right there. Yep. Yes.
yeah. Wonderful
Wonderful.
memories.
Yeah. Johnny, you're such a diverse person. You've got so many talents, and I appreciate that because I'm one of those people who has curiosity and passion for a lot of different things, including publishing and writing and being part of making sure everybody knows about people that I know and love when they have books coming out on our show, Conversations That Make a Difference, as well as through telling everybody, buy the book. So I know this is a really special time for you because you have just launched this and you have a special going on. You want to tell everybody the special that you just told me about?
Yes, yes. Actually, the book launch, the official book launch was this past weekend. And so I've dropped the prices of all the books, the paperback as well as the hardcover. They're 50% off. I think the paperback's about $10.99 and the hardcover is I think about $16.99. And then the ebook is 72% off and it's $1.99.
Wow.
And it was meant for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but since Teresa has been so kind and invited me to do this show on Tuesday, so I've decided to go ahead and let the price stay on as is till this Friday, which is, I believe, the 24th
24th, I
of the
think,
month.
yeah.
Yes, yeah, all the way to midnight, so Saturday you'll kick back up again. But so you all are welcome to please join us as a community to buy the book and contribute to. Our goal is actually from My Mom's Kitchen standpoint of view, we want to make the book a bestseller on Amazon. And the reason is because that coming up this year, that will allow us, this book itself coming out on the 15th anniversary is the foundation for us to launch From My Mama's Kitchen Genius Zone educational platform community enrichment program in the spring. And we're here to live a legacy of love for everyone. And not only that, like I say again, this book is not so much about me, it's me honoring my 9 moms. And most importantly, moms all over the world.
Yes.
And which includes everyone that listened to this podcast. It's your mom. Think about that. And what I'm going to do is that I know Teresa mentioned about the magazine. When y'all buy the book, do a review, shoot us an email. All you need to do is go to the website and shoot me an email, info@FromMyMamasKitchen.org or .com, and say who you are and the review that you have posted on Amazon. And guess what? We will give you a free subscription to the magazine for the whole year. Not one month, for the whole year.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So be sure to get your copy of Johnny's book, From My Mama's Kitchen, 15th Anniversary Special Edition. $10.99. This is a steal. This is a steal. And then go to FromMyMamasKitchen.org. Make sure that you put a review on Amazon first. Go to FromMyMamasKitchen.org. Leave your information with Johnny, and he's going to give you a free subscription to Inspiration for Better Living magazine. You won't be sorry for with either of those. This is a great gift. Thank you, Johnny. You also have a couple of other addresses: joyfulliving360.com and experiential keynote speaker johnnytan.com. And then you have From My Mama's Kitchen Talk Radio too. So I want to thank you so much for being my guest on Conversations That Make a Difference. You're a joy to talk to. I know sometimes when we're on the phone, we talk and we talk and we talk. And now we got a chance to talk for a whole hour about all of the wonderful things that you bring into the world through your moms, through your experience, through your dancing, through your magazine, and through so many other things that you're involved with. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Johnny. Any last thing you want to say? We have 1 minute.
Sure. It's been a true pleasure being here. I thank you so much for the hospitality and so forth. And when it comes back to the book, the beauty of it is that, Teresa, that book is a keepsake style, where actually on the front, the first page of it, you can dedicate to somebody else. And then at the very end of the book, there are spaces for where you can write your own recipes for living life that you've learned from your mom, or in this case, that you want to pass along to somebody else, to your loved ones.
Wonderful. It's awesome. And there's some great recipes in there. Coconut pie. Hello, come to mama. Anyway, thank you so much for being my guest on Conversations That Make a Difference. And for all of those who are listening, be sure to get your copy of Johnny's book, and be sure that every conversation that you're having with family members, friends, even with yourself, make sure those conversations make a difference. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Tune in next time for Conversations That Make a Difference with host Teresa Velardi every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Thank you for listening, and thank you to our station owner, Deborah Beauvais, working behind the scenes. Be sure to go to conversationsthatmakeadifference.com for your free gift. Make sure your conversations make a difference.